Welcome back to another episode of NFL News on the Boomer Bust channel. I'm your host, Terry, and today I want to real quickly talk about Aaron Rodgers and a little bit of Tom Brady. I meant to talk about this not too long after I did my episode on Aaron Rodgers and his press conference and all that, where he came back to the Packers, but been a little busy. So I want to follow up to that because that video was essentially talking about the future and kind of what I think the situation is with Green Bay and how that might play out. But one thing that I didn't really get to talk about was the implication of what Aaron Rodgers was doing. Because I think Aaron Rodgers really changed the NFL with what he did. And I think part of this stems from Tom Brady as well. But I think Aaron Rodgers really put it on a different level. Now, we know if you watched the interview or the press conference or you read it through it, the highlights, whatever, or if you just listen to what Aaron Rodgers has been doing, you know he wanted pretty much to have more involvement with the team. I don't think this is a situation where it's like everything should go to me, but it was like, I think that I should have, a level of involvement, a higher level, in things that impact me and impact this team and my ability to win. And behind closed doors, I don't know how Aaron Rodgers is. He might be demanding everything, but at least in public, that's what we've heard. And I think that's reasonable. Now, he's mentioned other great quarterbacks in the past, and a lot of people was like, oh, he's talking about Tom Brady. A lot of people have been talking, oh, Tom Brady, what he did last year has changed it. And I do think, obviously, them winning a Super Bowl creates a different spin on this narrative. But, and I do think that it impacted Rodgers, but I don't think it's to the level that some people act like. And again, Rodgers mentioned people throughout decades. Obviously, if you remember, he played behind Brett Favre, so he knows like what he was able to do, and get away with and, have say in. And so he's been around for a little bit. But Tom Brady, he went to the Bucs, obviously, and they did some concessions for him. AB, they didn't go after him right away, but after some time, after he cleared his issues with the league and everything, and they were able to work him out, they said yes. Gronk came out of retirement, they got him, and then Leonard Fournette, honestly, I don't know, I haven't read into that. I think that was just a pickup. I don't think that was like a Tom Brady special. But they did that. So a lot of people really spin this into, oh my God, Tom Brady did whatever he want. Whatever he want, they did it to make him comfortable. Like Bruce Arians carried Tom Brady on his back. He fluffed his pillow. Like they made it into this thing. And it's like, it very well may be like that behind the scenes. I don't know. But as far as like the team, it's like, okay, you brought in AB, who was nobody wanted, and he was in trouble and bouncing around the league, and nobody really knew what he could do because he hasn't played in such a long time. Okay, Gronk was retired. I mean, yes, he was great in his prime, but he was retired. He hasn't played in a little bit of time. So you got Gronk, okay. Leonard Fournette, you got him because he got cut. Like, the Jags didn't want him anymore. And so you got Leonard Fournette. Okay, cool. And yes, they scored touchdowns in the Super Bowl. Yes, they contributed, but people are acting like, I don't know, people are acting like Tom Brady really came in there and demanded the house and they went and got it done for him. I think what they did was reasonable. It wasn't, crazy. If he had input on those players, like, I really think you should go get them. Okay, cool. But it's not like he was like, oh, I really think you should go get DeAndre Hopkins, and they made it happen. That's a different level. But, he was part of that. And then people talk about how they called him about the quarterback when they took him and everything. And people make it seem like they got his blessing. And, maybe. But at the end of the day, the Packers called Aaron Rodgers after it happened, I believe, or like right before. But either way, they weren't going to get his permission because you don't know what's going to happen in the draft. And the way they spent it is, hey, if we thought that we were going to target Jordan Love and we was going to get him, we would have told him about it prior. But we didn't know that going into the draft. And that's how the draft shakes out. And so if you take him at his word, Aaron Rodgers, every single time has said it wasn't about Jordan Love. It really wasn't. And so a lot of people spun that as like the beginning of the rift, but it seems like it was definitely more than that. Aaron Rodgers touched on some of those things. But the point being that Aaron Rodgers flexed his muscle as a top-tier quarterback. Now, some people say, well, Deshaun Watson was already doing that before his whole situation. And to some extent, Russell Wilson, even though we didn't really hear him come out and say that. But overall, people have to realize that Aaron Rodgers saying that and Deshaun Watson is different. Because Aaron Rodgers has the years and the cachet behind it, and he just won MVP. Not to say that Deshaun Watson hasn't done anything, but it's not at the level of Aaron Rodgers. And so when Aaron Rodgers comes out and says these things, it has a little more credence because it doesn't feel like, something kind of from a young, hot shot. It's from somebody that's a veteran that's been around and that has done these things. Now, I think one of the most genius things about it, because I'm not, I'm fine with them working people in to these decisions, but I'm not like this, oh yes, the quarterback, any hot quarterback should run the whole entire I'm not with that, even with the coaches. But I think what was genius about what Aaron Rodgers did was not what he was asking for, but how he did it. And how he put his team, people say they're dirty laundry, but really I think most of what he said was pretty known knowledge. A couple things that we wouldn't have known, but for the most part it's known knowledge. And he put that out there at the forefront, and he framed it not as I want more power or y'all messed up or y'all doing me dirty. He was like, this is what was happening. This is how I took it. This is why I made my decision. And I am just trying to win. I'm trying to do what's best for my team and what's best for me. And so I think that would be best if I'm involved in some of these decisions that affect me. And I like the way he framed it because it made it palatable. And I saw a lot of comments where they was like, I don't even like Rodgers, or I hate the Packers, and I still liked him, or he made me respect him more, blah, 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 because he was honest, or at least he was up front. And like a lot of people were saying before, fans and media, he hasn't said nothing. He needs to just come out and tell us what he wants. No, he doesn't. He don't work for y'all. Y'all not the Packers. He don't need to come out and do that. He's having a conversation with people that can actually get things done. And when the time is right, he'll say what he has to say, and then he did. Now, again, I like the way he phrased it to say that I'm part of this organization, I'm really invested, and I'm just trying to help us do things better and do things the right way. And I just think that using his cachet, he really put teams on notice that you have to be able to play ball when somebody has that type of leverage. And I liked it because not everybody has that type of leverage. I mean, Dak Prescott, Josh Allen, Deshaun Watson, people that caliber have been in talks and been able to do things. But at the end of the day, they're nowhere near the caliber of Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady. And so when you have guys on that upper echelon being able to say, okay, I'm going to use my cachet, I'm going to cash that in and show you that, look, you need me. You need me, and you're not just going to play above me. We're going to play together. And so I think what he did really put teams on notice in general, but I think it also opens up the door for players to do it more the right way. And again, I like that he wasn't, I should be picking the GM or I should be picking the coach. Like, none of that. Just have him involved in more conversations. And as he said, he's not asking for anything that hasn't been done for other quarterbacks over the years. And so I really believe that just his approach and his willingness, because he hasn't been like that in a while. Most players haven't been. I think the NFL largely, you don't have guaranteed contracts. You know, it's a high contact sport. It's not like basketball. You don't, even as a quarterback, you don't affect the team like a basketball player. And so I don't think players have really been like this, but Aaron Rodgers kind of stepping up with the cachet behind his threats to then kind of say, here's how things should go. And I think that just opens up an avenue and a blueprint for quarterbacks and other star players to do that going forward. And obviously the ultimate test is when they'll put their body on the line and not sign these super long-term contracts. Then they can have more leverage, because that's really the issue with a lot of these things, like either Russ or Deshaun and other people, is like, well, they want to do this, they want to pull out. Like, you under contract. You signed a large contract. They didn't force you to do that. You did that because you know you want the security. And so with that security, you lose the leverage, because you're not just going to be like, oh, I got a 5-year contract, I want out. And again, as I've said before, if I'm the Texans or any of those players or teams, I'm like, okay, well, either you're not going to play or you're going to play with us. That's how that's going to go. And so the next step, because this is what Aaron Rodgers did, essentially a basketball move, renegotiated to where he essentially has a 1+1 contract, and the Packers could get out, or he could get out, I think, after this year. And so when players start to really use those contract terminologies more to their advantage, then I think they'll have even more power, you know, taking a step from the NBA. But I think Aaron Rodgers' move really changed the landscape of the NFL. And then lastly, I'll say Tom Brady, on another note, he criticized the NFLPA recently after they were kind of talking about the earnings and the values of the NFL teams and how they increased over the last year, yet the salary cap went down. And if I said it once, I said it twice. The NFLPA is the worst players association in professional sports. Tom Brady, I mean, it's cool that he spoke out and that he's saying like players really don't understand what's going on, because they don't. And again, it's the platform that he has as Tom Brady that makes that important. But again, he's not like he's been a president and a crusader these years that he's been in the league. So I give him a little credit, not too much. But overall, it starts this conversation once again. The NFL, the players, they need to organize better. And I get it. You got a lot of the low-end players that are just going to go with what gets them the quick money, and they don't feel connected with the high-end players, but they got to do something to work together, because they keep letting themselves get screwed. They keep letting this happen. It is all written into their, governance agreements to arbitrate and do these things and come to an agreement and collectively bargain, but they just let themselves get screwed over and over again. And so I never understand why, and I don't know what happens in these locker rooms, but I guess they need to just do a better job of getting everybody on the same page. So, because yes, the way that the teams are making money but giving less salary cap, and of course the way they're handling COVID, of course the way that contracts still aren't guaranteed, all that stuff, they need to do a better job. So anyway, that's it for me. Go down comment section, let me know what you think. Share around, get the conversation started. Thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you for listening.